I want to start out on talking a bit about agentic AI, and I want to talk about the concept of the AI paradox that we're finding ourselves in. So rather than process or people at the moment, we're talking about systems. So depends on who you speak to, what do you read. The interesting thing, and we can solve with Martin's presentation this morning, there's a lot of interest in AI, agentic AI. One of the key things is that, and again, depending on who you speak to, between 70, 85% of CEOs are wanting to invest in agentic AI in the next 12 to 18 months. The paradox of that is, again, depending on who you speak to, either Gartner saying that 40% of agentic AI projects are going to be failing by 2030, to all the way up to MIT releasing a paper in October this year saying that 95% of all agentic AI, generative AI projects fail to move from pilot to production. So that's a significant flip in terms of excitement, but also can it actually work? So I'm going to tell you what we have and why we think it can work, but we do it a bit differently. So I have to quickly put up that, because we'll talk about roadmap. But okay, so Oracle, supply chain planning, we cover things like demand management, S&OP, supply planning, supply chain collaboration, all the good things that you expect. But from an agentic AI perspective, what do we cover? So we cover things like the key things, predictive AI. We've got those we talked about earlier with the roulette, using AI to help drive forecast accuracy improvement. So we already are doing that. The next step, of course, is agentic AI. What can we do with agentic AI that can improve my supply chain planning, S&OP processes further? So things like, for example, exceptions. Using natural language to ask the system, tell me about the top 10 items that have demanded risk by revenue. Are there notes associated to that? And then, for example, coming in our S&OP processes, where are we in the cycle? Who's behind? Using natural language to ask the system about where we are within the process. Who's behind in the process? Are we on track? But this is obviously just the start of it. So if we come down to the question of why these agentic AI projects are failing, the key trend, key common points amongst them is the fact that the data, there's no business context to the data. So a lot of people who are using agentic AI, essentially taking all the data out of the systems, out of my planning systems, vectorizing it, putting it into a system, we now lack context. And this is one of the other reasons why these projects are failing, is that there's not enough usage amongst people because there's no business context. There's not a lot of value being added there. The other place where it's failing is that we have rigid infrastructure that can't scale, can't be flexible. The other reason why it's failing is lack of transparency, where users don't understand the results it's giving. They don't believe in it. And then the last thing is around governance. Now, I've just mentioned all the reasons why it is failing and why these systems are not working. This is what Oracle is doing differently, in that we are covering the context-driven side of things. We have a unified data model, end-to-end systems that can talk to each other. So rather than having an agentic AI stay within the realm of planning, we have agentic AI that can reach across to logistics, to procurement, to HR if needs. So we have systems that go across the boundaries of our supply chain planning systems. We have cloud-grade agentic AI. So we're not talking about a rigid system that's just designed as a standalone bolt-on application. This is cloud-based, SaaS-based logic around having quarterly releases for our agentic AI studio, which I'll get into a bit more detail about. We then have a testing system built into it. So the users can actually, and this is another thing that's different, is that our agentic AI is not developed only, the AI agents are not developed only by our development team. They are actually we expose it to the business users. So we have a low-code environment where the user can essentially select the context, the data that they're wanting to use, the large language model they're wanting to use, and then essentially a prompt that you would expect from, say, ChatGPT. I enter a prompt. How should you behave? What should you do? What shouldn't you do? And publish. And that is essentially our Agentic AI. Just an interesting point. We had our AI World in Las Vegas a few weeks ago. And the day before the AI World, our apps leader, Steve Miranda, arranged a hackathon where he got 100 customers together. This is just general business users together. And within one day, they were able to create 109 unique AI agents on our AI Agent Studio. So in a day, we're not talking about going off and developing it, training the engine, and spending months testing. This is in a day, they were able to create these 109 agents. And the last thing is role-based access. One of the challenges you're going to be facing when you take data out is I now have to rebuild all my role-based access. This is our system. The AI is happening at the transactional level within the applications, and all the role-based access that you have currently on those systems are already in place with the AI. So if you're working with an AI agent on a data set, you have access to that data and only that data. Now, why is Oracle different? Well, not only are we an apps company, we're a tech company. So essentially what they've done is we have all the infrastructure, we have all the AI platform, and they've now exposed the entire fusion layer to the AI agents. So we also have all the AI large language models that you would typically see. So things like ChatGPT, Google, Meta, Cohere, Anthropic. These are all large language models that you can use immediately within the application. And then built into that, we of course have the Agent Studio, but we also have certified experts. So Oracle University have made the course for the AI Agent Studio free. So we now have 32,000 people globally who are actually certified on the application. And then 3 weeks ago, we also introduced the Agent Marketplace, where all of our partners, Deloitte, Accenture, all of those partners, the mainstream partners, are now able to develop agents using the AI Agent Studio and then make it free for use for anyone who wants to use it. So not only do we have a platform that's low code, where the dev team don't need to actually develop, it's actually the business users. We now have all the partners developing those themselves. And it's free. So anyone who's using our application gets to use this for free. One of the other reasons that, this MIT study came out with is that there are cost overruns. So when you're developing your own AI, you're going to face cost overruns. So in my last minute left, I used to have 20 minutes, Martin. You need to bring that back. In my last minute, I'll ask the question to you. If you are working with someone who's saying, I want to position AI agents or agentic AI to you, ask them the question, is the data business context? Does the AI agent understand the data? How fragile or how structured is the architecture? Can you trust the data? Can you expose why? Can you test it? Can you test things like the latency? Can I test the repeatability of the answer? Can I do all those things? And is there governance in place? Is that my end? Is that a ring? No? Okay. Well, that's all I have for you. I think my 10 minutes are up now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.